Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's video. The camera world is going through a revolution that has been going on for close to 2 decades. This transformation is the biggest since the film to digital transition and will forever change how we take photos. In this video, I'll share with you the how and why mirrorless cameras have surpassed DSLRs in sales, which technological innovations happened over the years to make it happen, and why both manufacturers and users are falling in love with mirrorless cameras. My name is Simon D'Entremont, and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Try to open up your mind sometimes. You'll be just fine.
So let's start off by describing what makes DSLRs and mirrorless cameras different in the first place. DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. It refers to a type of camera that uses a mirror mechanism to reflect light that comes through the lens to a viewfinder where you see what your camera will capture. Note that you're looking at real photons that have come through the lens and bounced off mirror assemblies. This fact will become important later. What you're seeing is what the camera sees through what's called an optical viewfinder. To take a photo, when you press the shutter button, the mirror has to rise up out of the way, revealing a shutter mechanism behind it, which opens up to reveal the digital sensor, which, when exposed to the light, records what it's seen. Why is that mirror needed in the first place? Well, without the mirror assembly, there's no way for the photographer to see the image. And when the photographer can see the image using the mirror, there's no way for the sensor to capture the image. So only one of these can work at a time. The answer is to have the photographer see the image in the viewfinder, then for a fraction of a second, the sensor see the image to capture by raising the mirror. Basically, each has to take its turn. Now, a mirrorless camera works by getting rid of the mirror box assembly. Rather than taking turns seeing the image, the DSLR's optical viewfinder is replaced with a digital viewfinder called an EVF, or electronic viewfinder. This is basically a small TV in your eyepiece. What happens now is that the image comes through the lens and onto your sensor. The sensor captures what's seen and electronically sends a signal which reproduces the image in the viewfinder. No need to take turns between the sensor and the viewfinder. You can look at an image and take the photo at the same time. Now, if we look at market data, we'll see that over the last 10 years, there's been a steady shrinking of DSLR sales and a growth in mirrorless sales. DSLR shipped has gone from almost 10 million cameras in 2015 to less than 10% of that today. Meanwhile, mirrorless cameras have been slowly growing in sales. You put these two together, and the DSLR share of the camera market has been going down and mirrorless share going up, such that the overall picture looks like this, with mirrorless cameras having 85% of market share of new camera sales. Now, the innovations that allowed this didn't all happen at once. The development of small electronic viewfinders to replace optical viewfinders was indeed a big leap forward, as it allowed getting rid of the mirror box assembly. But this wasn't the only innovation needed to make mirrorless cameras technically feasible, and didn't happen all at once. It needs more than this one innovation to not only make a mirrorless camera work, but work well. The process toward a modern mirrorless camera started in the 1990s with the advent of digital sensors. While these were the precursors of modern sensors with amazing resolution and quality, they had limitations in the day of low resolution, less than that of film, and slow processors in the cameras to manage the large amounts of digital data for fast reading of the information from the sensor and provide for an electronic viewfinder. As such, many still relied on optical viewfinders. The early 2000s saw the advent of early efforts at mirrorless, like the prototype Epson RD1, the first digital rangefinder camera. Compact point-and-shoot cameras began using rear LCD screens for framing of the photo and displaying key pieces of information for the photographer to use in deciding what setting to use. The mid-2000s saw the advent of live view, that is, showing the image about to be taken live on the back LCD screen. The innovation here was actually the processing power needed to prove that electronic framing in real time was possible, even on a larger camera and with a larger screen, using data from the sensor. Live view was indeed important for the mirrorless camera revolution. This is because optical viewfinders and DSLRs have an inherent weakness. They show you the image as seen in real life, but without knowing how the camera settings will affect that image. If your settings will make the image too dark or too bright, you only know after the photo is taken. Mirrorless cameras have a leg up using something called live view. It's that the camera can calculate how the image will change using your current settings, so we'll show you how the photo will look even before you take it. So live view is actually live preview, if you know what I mean. Also, while optical viewfinders and DSLRs can show you some information like settings and a light meter within the view of the photographer, the little LCD screen within the electronic viewfinder can present much more information about the photo, your settings, and the photo about to be taken, including things like a real-time histogram. Hey, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, me. I'm so lucky now that I've got my own signature edition photography jacket. I partnered with German company Hochland and field tested it in Western Canada photographing grizzly bears in weather that changed every hour. That's why a jacket with 3 separate layers which you can mix and match is great to have: an inner fleece, a middle puff jacket, and an outer wind and rain shell. So that's why we call it a 7-in-1 jacket. A built-in photo bag and a pouch for a lens cloth means it's great for photographers. We're shipping in October but offering €50 off, a free beanie, and free shipping on pre-orders. Check out the link below. Now, the late 2000s tackled the next hurdles that mirrorless cameras still needed. One was autofocus, which was still behind that of DSLRs, which at this time were still quite a bit ahead of mirrorless cameras. DSLRs used a neat trick for focusing the lens on an intended subject in a system called phase detection autofocus. In a DSLR, part of the mirror is semi-transparent and allows some light to go through the mirror to a secondary mirror behind it. This other mirror directs some of that light onto a dedicated autofocus sensor. This sensor has micro lenses that split up the image into 2 phases, which it compares. If the images line up, you're in focus. If it doesn't, the camera calculates how far the lens focus system needs to move and in which direction. This system was pretty fast and pretty accurate. It did suffer from the weakness that it could only use information from the center of the field of view, which was limited to a certain number of focus points, and could be misaligned if the focus chip wasn't exactly the right distance from the mirror assembly. Now, mirrorless cameras started exploring a new method for focusing called contrast detection. The camera looks at the sensor image and measures the contrast at various areas. High contrast means the image is in focus, and low contrast out of focus. The camera then moves the focus of the lens in and out until maximum contrast is achieved. Early in its advent, it was slower than phase detection. It could hunt for a while to find focus and suffers from the weakness that it doesn't know in which direction the best focus is, which the DSLR system does. By the early 2010s, these contrast-based focus systems were starting to catch up on phase detection from DSLRs, but still not there. For a wildlife photographer like me who needs to track fast-moving subjects, the DSLR was still the best choice. Also, the battery power needed to power the capture and storage of data, as well as power the little TV screen, which is the electronic viewfinder, meant that the battery life suffered. That meant that while a mirrorless camera was fine and easy for taking candid shots on vacation, for serious work, their use was limited to certain genres that didn't get hampered by those limitations. In contrast to these challenges, this period still saw the development of better mirrorless cameras with new innovations coming into the scene. Some cameras with interchangeable lenses entered the market, a key requirement for many photographers and especially advanced photographers and professionals. This meant that mirrorless cameras could start competing head-to-head with DSLRs. But at this point, only entry-level DSLRs. For pro work, the DSLR was still ahead. The mid to late 2010s saw a few more innovations and realizations that were important in the mirrorless revolution. One was on the size of cameras. In the entry-level point-and-shoot world in which digital cameras started their lives, it was clear that they were small and compact. As more and more professional and high-end mirrorless cameras with large sensors entered the market, it was clear that this advantage would carry over into full-size cameras with interchangeable lenses. The lack of a mirror assembly and pentaprism needed for the DSLR meant that the mirrorless camera could be smaller than its DSLR equivalent. This period of the late 2010s is the period where mirrorless cameras started showing their potential for use in the most demanding environments and professional needs. Up until this point, EVFs of digital cameras were still slow and laggy and lacked the natural look of optical viewfinders. But new EVFs with high refresh rates and 4 million dot resolutions now started to rival their optical counterparts from DSLRs. Camera manufacturers also started making mirrorless autofocus systems that could match DSLRs for autofocus capability. One advantage that was quite revolutionary was the ability of a mirrorless camera to use the whole sensor for finding subjects, where DSLRs were limited to subjects in the center of the frame. By making sensors with contrast detection and phase detection at the same time. Or the advent of dual pixel autofocus, which puts focus right into the pixel. This is also where the computing power of digital cameras came into play. This allowed digital cameras to do things that DSLRs couldn't. One is to increase the frame rate of cameras, that is, shoot many frames per second. DSLRs were limited into how many shots they could take quickly because of the need to wait for the mirror assembly to go up and down between shots. Modern mirrorless cameras have more processing power and don't have the mirror box assembly, so they can take many more photos per second. This computing power was also important in adding super capable video into mirrorless cameras. Fast readout speeds and great video autofocus combined to take photo cameras into the video space with quite a bit of speed. This video revolution was also aided by faster readout speeds of new sensor technologies like stacked CMOS sensors. Now, this isn't a mirrorless trait per se, as it could have been put into a DSLR, but it happened with the popularization of mirrorless cameras and suited the needs of mirrorless well. The other transformation that happened in this period was IBIS, or in-body image stabilization. This is where the sensor moves to counteract the movement of the lens or camera, negating this movement like noise-canceling headphones does for sound. Now, this technology has been in lenses for years, but it turns out can be used in cameras too, and is additive such that the lens and sensor stabilizations can work together. Now, IBIS isn't strictly a mirrorless invention. It was first in a camera, a DSLR, by Konica Minolta in 2003. That being said, it's more easily implemented in mirrorless and flourished in this era. This allows photographers to take sharper photos in low light by keeping the image steady in the frame while you take the photo. Also, the rise of computing power in cameras in this age allowed for subject detection in a mirrorless camera. Using AI-derived models, the camera could look into sensor data to find people or animals and find their eyes to focus upon. So the late 2010s was the catch-up era where mirrorless cameras caught up to DSLR performance in many areas. But it's the last 5 years that have started the golden age of mirrorless, taking us to modern times. Starting in 2020, we saw mirrorless cameras take over market share from DSLRs, outselling them in most markets. Up until this point, adopting mirrorless cameras from the consumer standpoint included accepting a few caveats or disadvantages. Less battery life, less realistic looking viewfinders, and so on. The current age of mirrorless is now taking mirrorless to the point where they come without sacrifices. EVFs look really natural without the blackout created in a DSLRs by the mirror flipping in and out. Batteries are lasting a long time. Autofocus systems are quite a bit beyond what they were in DSLRs, and we have frame rates of 30 and 40 frames per second for fast action, and all in a small package. Now, can you still get great photos from a DSLR? Sure you can. Many people, including myself, took plenty of great photos with DSLRs, and will for years to come. But will mirrorless come and go, or is this evolution permanent? It's the latter. Many manufacturers have stopped developing new lenses for DSLRs altogether, and the trend is showing that for many, making DSLRs is a legacy process while it's profitable, and there continues to be a market for it. Some people say that mirrorless cameras are too expensive, and that the high R&D cost of new mirrorless innovations can sometimes make mirrorless cameras too rich for their wallets. A couple of notes on this. First, from a manufacturer's perspective, mirrorless cameras lack the cost of certain things like mirror assemblies, which can also wear out by the way, pentaprisms, and separate focus chips, removing some of the costs out of the equation. Secondly, sometimes the sense that mirrorless cameras are more expensive is unfounded. The Canon 5D Mark IV DSLR was launched in 2016 at $3,500 US. In today's money, after inflation, that's $4,500. But that camera's modern mirrorless successor, the R5 Mark II, was launched at $4,300, $200 less than its DSLR counterpart's launch price after inflation. Camera manufacturers have also made the transition to mirrorless easier by allowing DSLR users to continue to use their old lenses on new mirrorless cameras. A DSLR lens was made to have more distance between the lens and the sensor, where the mirror box was. But now that's just empty space. The great innovation has been the development of an adapter that's basically a spacer between the two. That way you can keep using your old DSLR lenses on your new mirrorless camera, making the transition less expensive. A great innovation. Speaking of lenses, the availability of lenses for mirrorless cameras is one of the last impediments for getting into mirrorless, and this last barrier to entry is also being taken down. While early entry into mirrorless might have meant that you didn't have as many native lenses to choose from because manufacturers were dividing their efforts into developing both DSLRs and mirrorless lenses, most manufacturers now are focusing solely on the lenses for their mirrorless systems. So many more releases are coming out, and the roadmaps for lens releases looks really exciting. Will DSLR soon be no more? Possibly from a manufacturing standpoint, but in the same way that some people use film as they enjoy the experience, look, and nostalgic feel of it, I think there will always be legacy DSLR users who like the click of a mirror box and mechanical shutter and don't feel the need to change. There are many genres where a good DSLR will still produce great results, and the low barrier to entry in getting one used will keep DSLRs as an easy entry point into photography and a great way to learn photography basics with less technology to dazzle you. Are you a mirrorless user, and what year did you switch? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope that you get out soon to take your own unique and amazing photos, whether with DSLR or mirrorless. I know you can do it.